O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Over 2,000 Toyotas are in stock and on their way to Toyota of Hollywood. Get our lowest price on every Toyota, including Corolla, Camry, Highlander, Tacoma, and RAV4. Like a 2024 Corolla LE, $19,975. Need credit? If you earn at least $500 a week, we want to say you're approved at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
There's just one place to get our biggest discount on a 2024 Acura. Take up to $10,000 off. $10,000 off at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 Acura dealer in the USA.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. The Big Cheese is back. Sean Stanley. That's the Big Cheese right there. Okay, I'm the little cheese. He's the big cheese. I'm the little cheese. Welcome aboard, baby. But if you want the real big cheese, well, you know, you got to go to 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue for the last 40 years to get the real big cheese. We got some big cheeses on the show today. Manny Navarro's a big cheese. David Furones is a big cheese. Yes, sir. There was a big cheese on the field today. Teron Armstead. He was practicing the big cheese. How about that? Jalen Phillips practicing, hitting the blocking dummy and everything. You know you got to drive that dummy. Do you know what you need for driving that dummy? You need legs. You know what you need connected to those legs? Achilles. Impressive little nuggets, little news notes coming out of camp today. Final day, by the way. That's it. I don't get to see any more. Nobody gets to see any more practices. Tomorrow the media will be able to go. The ones that go to Tampa, they'll be able to watch that one. But I hear the angle is the best for it. So, like David Furones, he's going to go tomorrow to Tampa. He's actually driving up there now. Let's find out if he's actually doing something really important when he goes there. In our Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. How you doing, baby? You feeling good?
I'm doing good, man. A little tired, but I had to wake up early this morning, but gonna hit the road in a little bit once I get done here at the facility and get to Tampa. What's the really important thing that I have to do there? I was hearing you in the lead.
Young and spry, bro. What do you mean tired? What are you talking about, bro? Let's go. Are you going to a steakhouse?
To a steakhouse?
No.
Oh, which one did you say?
Going to Burns Steakhouse.
Oh, well, some of us were talking about going there, so we'll have to follow up the guys on the beat. We have enough days to find a time. So
you've never been there?
No, it wasn't Burns. I went to. There's a couple decent spots that I've been to there, which I can't remember. But if it was Burns, I would remember based on what I've heard.
That's my point. There's no way you go to Burns and forget about it because it's not just great food; it's an experience. You get to the tour of the kitchen. You get a tour of the wine cellar.
Okay.
You go upstairs to the greatest dessert room on Mother Earth. That they've got a fucking encyclopedia as a menu, a dessert room with a menu that's an encyclopedia.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got like 300 different things that they do with their ice cream up there. And they put you in these wooden classic booths. 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, 12 people. They've got different sizes. It's amazing, dude. How have you not? You've been to Tampa. You've never gone to Burns Steakhouse. Young man, let me tell you something. Mark this down. Okay. If you go, have the Chateaubriand.
Okay.
That's the best steak on the cow. That is the elite part of the fillet And that's the softest one. Trust me. Okay. You can use a butter knife to cut it. It will melt in your mouth. You're like, yes, you've got to try the Chateaubriand. That's my favorite steak cut. Very, very few steakhouses have that cut. They are one of the few because they breed their own cattle.
Okay.
They have their own farms. The waiters work on the farms before they are your waiters. They have to. Yeah.
Oh, it's this level of commitment. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, okay. I've heard of the place, but I didn't know it was all this.
That's why
I hear it's tough to get a reservation.
Yeah, that's why I know you haven't been to Burns because you don't forget Burns ever.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah.
Appetizer, by the way, the escargot.
I recently had escargot for the first time, and I must say, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
The best escargot I've ever had.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. Trust me on that. Trust me that if you have the escargot and you have the Chateaubriand, you're gonna go, oh shit, dude. Oh, set me up here. I hit a home run. Because you're gonna have a salad and all that. They always bring that's part of your whole deal. But Chateaubriand, my brother, that is
indeed
the creme de la creme. That is just, oh my God. Every time I go to Tampa, I have to go to Burns. I have to. Like, it's a must. I've been dying to take Sean to Burns when we go to Tampa. Every time we haven't nailed that trip yet where we end up going together. But I told him I owe him a trip to Burns. I got to take him.
Okay, on you, huh?
Oh yeah, well that's Sean, bro. I mean, you know, I got to be there. Sean's my guy.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah. What I heard is it's tough to get a reservation. So have you had issues with that?
No, you just get. I know if I know I'm going to Tampa ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'm get now, a tip: if you don't have a reservation, go early and go sit at the bar, and you can eat at the bar also.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bar's really nice, of course.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about eating at the steakhouse is every room is different. It's got a different type of theme. You know, it's all classical, the architecture and everything, but it's got a different theme each room. So it's pretty cool because over the years you're like, oh, I haven't been in this room or I haven't been in that room. I've been to Burns, I don't know, probably. It's religion for me. It's an incredible meal.
So it makes every visit unique, having these different rooms, because it's not like, oh, I've been there and I've experienced it. Now you go there once and you have a different room next time. Actually, similar to what is St. Elmo's in Indianapolis, because there's so many different areas. Just the way the whole restaurant is set up is like you go up one stairway, go into another room. So it's kind of like you could eat in a different room and select off of their incredible menu, but it's like a different dining experience every time with your surroundings.
When you get there, you sit down, you say, hey, can I get a tour of the kitchen? And they'll go, okay, no problem. And then they'll come back and get you and they'll give you a tour of the kitchen. When you go through the kitchen, you're going to go, yeah, hey, just put the steak right on the floor. I'll eat it right here.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
Serious. The fish are swimming around 600-gallon tanks.
Whoa.
So when you order it, they kill it right there on the spot.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Wow. This is a high-level operation.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you need to go to Burns Steakhouse. If you've never been to Burns Steakhouse, you are cheating yourself of one of the true great steakhouses and maybe the best experience. And then they take you to their wine cellar, which is only a portion of their wine cellar. Like they have another building down the street that's an entire wine cellar. They have bottles of wine there that cost $50,000, $75,000 and shit like that. So yeah, I'm telling you, dude, you got to go. You got to go. Yeah. If you're in Tampa, you must go to Burns Steakhouse. BERN 'S Steakhouse, not BU.
Okay. Yeah.
Burns.
I would have had that wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, most people do. That's why I spelled it out, because just in case if any of the listeners are listening and they're enticed by it. So you'll look at it. If you ever go to Tampa, and you're a steak person, oh my God, I strongly encourage you to go there. You know, that's a hell of an experience. So anyway, let's get to some. Actually, we're here to talk some football. You know, it's nice to see. I was just talking about this Jalen Phillips, like with the tackling dummy, because you know, you need legs and then you need Achilles tied to legs, and they've got to be able to thrust through that. And so it was really nice to see Jalen Phillips like continuing this incredible progress, bro.
Yeah, excellent to see that. We got to hear from defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver today. So hearing him chronicle, and by the way, you listen to Anthony Weaver talking. I mean, anyone you ask him about, it's just like you get so pumped up for that player. Just listening to him, and Jalen Phillips, no different. For good reason with him, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, I think Phillips now, he's gotten a week under himself since returning off PUP. So getting all those practice reps, and you just know that like this is just going to be behind him, and then now it's just about ramping up, getting that practice participation up. I'm wondering if we'll see him in this joint practice against Tampa, if he's ready for that. We saw him in some team reps today, and then some of it was at walkthrough speed, but just have him keep that uptick going. And then I'm looking at it like, man, like the way Anthony Weaver said, I wouldn't put any limits on him, or they'll have to operate with some limits. They'll have to wait to get to that point to figure it out. But as far as just, he's not going to limit what he believes Jalen Phillips is capable of. So now I'm excited to see what he turns into in a couple of weeks here before the opener.
Yeah, and my guess would be he won't be part of the one-on-ones tomorrow, or play against Tampa. Why do I say that? He just got back to practice, so you want him practicing against your own people, not an overzealous player on the other side that you just never know or whatever. So you have the luxury of 3 more weeks of practice for Jalen Phillips. And you can ramp up the physicality in your own way, in your controlled atmosphere with your people, and everybody understands where he's at and all that kind of stuff. And so that way you get to the game. And then that's when you can start with the next level of contact, obviously. But you'll play some level of contact here, over the next couple of weeks. The only thing is it'll be behind the scenes, away from us. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I think with Weaver, when I was talking with Travis Wingfield about this morning, that it's going to be a lot of fun to watch a guy that first-year coaches. An example: Mike McDaniel gets here. Do you think he has everything he needs? No, of course not. We're in year 3 now. Now's when he has a tight end that he can use in the offense. He now has a third running back, so he can really have a rotation that he needs. He's got the receivers now. He's got more of what he needs overall to succeed than he did the first year. Weaver, obviously, is not going to have everything it needs in his first year. But one of the things that I like about what he's doing and what he's going to end up doing with a lot of these guys is he's going to use their multiplicity. And that's going to allow him to adjust to things that are going on from week to week, from play to play, from series to series. Unlike the last coach who refused to adjust, it was you had to adjust to his scheme. This is not this guy. This guy already comes in with a multiple attitude. And so if there are multiple things, a.k.a. Jalen Phillips, can do, he's going to get it out of him, or whoever else it is. Chop, you can play inside and you can play outside. So now I'm going to use you. You're just not an outside pass rusher. I can use you inside to disrupt too at the same time. So this, to me, one of the advantages that Weaver does have, see, Mike is not flexible. He wasn't flexible the first 2 years here. Even though he was limited, he wasn't flexible. He would not use the tight ends. They weren't up to his standard. He just won't use them. Sometimes he doesn't even stick to the run when he's supposed to. You know what I mean? I think this guy comes in with a completely different attitude that he's going to adjust to whatever he has.
Yeah, and that's what was so frustrating with Vic last year with Jalen Ramsey and keeping him to one side. And I think Anthony Weaver is going to be so willing to use Ramsey not only in different coverage schemes, but then also just using his athleticism on the blitz that we've seen flash at times. His run support on runs to the outside has flashed a lot this training camp. So, beyond just what we already know, him in coverage and what he can do there, then there's so many things. So him, Javon Holland at safety, a guy with more range than what was necessarily utilized under Vic Fangio's scheme. That opens up a lot of things for him to play that center field like he did under the previous regime, and use that range to really cover a lot of ground, and then use another safety, maybe if it is on a blitz, or to come in and cover a slot, and so many different variations of what you can do just using these different skill sets. So yeah, same with Chop. So with Jalen Phillips, if he wants to, as he gets further incorporated and more comfortable into doing different things. And then on the D-line, I mean, Zach Sealer can line up in different spots depending on who are the other defensive linemen around him and where they are better suited to line up. Calais Campbell is a guy who can move around a little bit on the D-line and has in his extensive career. So I think Anthony Weaver is going to really use all of this and just utilize the full slate to his advantage.
I'm with you there. Teron Armstead practiced today, along with Jalen Phillips. Jalen Ramsey practiced. Jordan Poyer practiced today. So, with all of the injuries of the people out, who are you concerned about?
People out. I mean, it's Aaron Brewer at this point, still with that hand and being week to week. So now we're seeing a lot of progress with so many guys that you mentioned there. So Teron Armstead, good to see him getting back and ramping up. And we were talking about joint practices and keeping.
What if I tell you guaranteed Aaron Brewer will be playing week 1?
Oh, I'll take it. Absolutely.
Okay, so then who else are you truly concerned about with week 1?
For week 1, Isaiah Wynn for sure. He still hasn't even been off PUP.
I'm pretty damn sure he won't be there for week 1.
Yeah, right. I mean, at this point, he's a candidate now to remain on PUP to start the season, which at least puts him out the first 4 weeks. So that it's trending to go that way because you still got to see him get into practice and then have some weeks, plural, of practice there before you could even identify, whatever new version of him it is coming off the injury. Is he then now able to supplant Robert Jones, who's been working there at the left guard spot for all of training camp and been up and down at times, and you have questions on the interior of the offensive line. But if Aaron Brewer, indeed, as you say, is back for the start of the season, now the key with that is that he's not getting those snapping reps with Tua. So then, and especially with a hand injury, does that come back up closer to the regular season?
Wait.
Okay.
They have 2.5 weeks to practice without you being able to see it. So he will have time to get snaps in there. Actually, it's not like he's injured all the way up to the day of the start of the season. And then hey, let's activate him. And he's going to be practicing, leading up to probably sometime in the next couple days, week. He's going to start practicing and start getting some snapping and all that kind of stuff. And who knows? He might be working on it now as it is. I don't know for sure, but it's one of those things that he'll have some rhythm before he gets there.
One thing I haven't confirmed is actually, and I'm trying to remember which hand is it for Brewer. Do you have is it his snapping hand or is it his non-snapping hand? Because then that also factors into it as well.
Ooh, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
All I know,
I just thought of that right now.
all I know is I was told he'll be ready week 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Him and Odell, there's no concerns whatsoever. They'll both be ready for week 1.
Right. With Odell, it's just you wanted.
Ezukama had almost no practice time before the game on Saturday, and he looked fantastic. And he was out for a few weeks. So they do something behind the scenes, dude.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And we just don't get to see that. And that's the beauty of training camp. That's why I like going to training camp, because at least I get to see some real football, something at least that looks some resemblance of it. Whereas, during the season, you guys just get to see a couple guys stretching and you take roll call and that's it. That you don't really get to see practice. And that's where they get to do a lot of the shit. You know what I'm saying? That they don't have to hurry it up right now in front of us. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to show their cards, in other words, because if they show that Odell is running around and looking good, then teams are going to be even more, try to prepare. But if you leave it the way it is and people are talking about PUP and all that kind of stuff, and that's what they want. That's what they want. They want that doubt that's that's out there.
Sure. Now, different circumstances for Azukama coming right in and getting it done in a preseason game, and also later in it. So kind of getting these reps against Commander's defense that held out a lot of starters, but then also was going deeper into its depth chart by then. So, I mean, it would be different Odell immediately in a regular season game. But he's also a pro that has done this for years.
But what I mean is, when they brought him back, he was physically ready to perform.
Yes.
That's my point. And so that's what they're doing with Odell. He's running well. I can't tell you exactly what I know, but I can tell you that he's running well.
Yeah, that'll be the PAP list, the physically able to perform.
Yeah, there's the if you can keep it under wraps. And remember, here's the other thing that I was explaining to somebody today. He's not going to play a lot. He's not an inside guy.
Yeah,
he's going to play outside for Tyreek and Waddle. And then if you want to play all three, then Tyreek or Waddle are going to be the guys that are going to go inside at that moment, and Odell will stay outside. So Odell's going to fill in for those guys. The middle of the field is being worked on by tight ends, by whatever the group of number 3 wide receivers are, and the running backs are going to start catching passes. As you can see, if you're watching, I was explaining this today, that the easy pass was not in the offense the last 2 years for Tua. Okay, when you go look at Warren Sharp's chart about how difficult and deep balls and all that, the Dolphins are always way out there all by themselves because Tua's constantly throwing downfield. Well, you didn't have the tight end to work the middle of the field. You weren't throwing enough to running backs. You weren't using enough a slot receiver. So that's what they're going to solve this year. They're solving the slot. They're going to use the tight end. They're going to use the running back, and you see it in practice every day. Tua has the easy pass now, which he did not have for the first 2 years under Mike. So this offense, Tua should have the best year he's ever had because he should be more efficient because they're now giving him the easier passes to have. Because now you've got a Jonnu Smith and a Julian Hill, and now you're going to have a Malik Washington and a River Craycraft and those kind of guys to go to in the middle of the field along with the 3 running backs.
Yeah, I agree. That's going to take so much pressure off of Tua, who's put up the numbers these past 2 years. But again, like you said, it'd be in a lot of difficult, tougher throws where it's just constantly he's got to go downfield. That's why he's got the yards per attempt, always ranking high in that category, and in fact leading the league in it in 2022, and then again last year, and then you saw him go more over the top in this past season to Tyreek Hill with the frequency that he did. So where it was more so like not just downfield, but the next level of over the top entirely of the defense. When first year you saw that the 20-25 yard range with the safeties really giving Tyreek and Waddle a lot of respect, how they were just knocking it into that range. And I mean, I think that's huge for a quarterback to just know it's not every throw that it's going to be like that. You sprinkle that in, but then now you can mix it in with your easy throws and then keep yourself in a rhythm, keep yourself going that way.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You tell me the player that has surprised you the most out of camp by now that we're pretty much done.
Oh, okay. Boy, you give me free range. You narrow it down. Give me like a position group or something. Or, free range for the whole team.
Guy that has impressed you the most.
Impressed me the most.
Yeah.
Out of
New face.
New face? Okay, so it's got to be a new. Wasn't on the roster because I was about to say Julian Hill because we no, it's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's always going to impress you. That's boring. Yeah. To a dime to the right sideline today. Like today was kind of a lame practice, but that one he threw to the right sideline today. Oh shit! He dropped that dime in there. That thing was beautiful. That's boring. I know that those guys are going to wow me. Give me the new face that you're impressed with for whatever reason.
New face. Okay, because right before you told me that, I was about to say might have been Julian Hill, but he's now in his second year, so you don't want him. It's got to be a new face.
But I'm with you. I'm with you.
You'll accept Julian Hill, but
I'm impressed with his growth. So I kind of I'm going with Storm Duck because I love how I love that he doesn't look out of place at all. Right. And I like that a lot. The kid, he reminds me a lot of Kohu in the first year. That Kohu just had a lot of what's that called? Like he had a lot of composure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what reminds me a lot when I see Storm. It's like, oh, this guy's well put together. You know.
And it's really take your pick from these undrafted young DBs. And even then, Patrick McMorris, the safety, is another one actually who was drafted late. I mean, young DBs they hit on those between McMorris late in the draft. It'd be easy to say like a Chop, or I mean, we haven't seen too much of Muhammad Kamara.
Hey, how about Cam? I was talking about this in the postgame show. Ezukama teaches you to be patient with Cam, because Ezukama, the poor kid, it's not that he can't play. It's that he's had bad luck with some injuries. And then again, he had the injury, and then he comes back and boom, he opens your eyes and go, oh shit, this guy can do stuff that other receivers can't. He really adds something to it. Maybe we need to be patient. Here goes Cam. He has the first bad play in the game. And then after that, he stands up, plays tough, tackles a couple guys, and then makes a play downfield with ball skills that Noah Igbenogany, not even in his freaking dreams, could ever do something like that. And it just shows you, if Cam figures out his body, it's not that he can't play, because at camp the last couple of years, he'll show you stuff that you'll go, okay, this kid can play. This guy can make plays. Yeah. But bro, he's just kind of like, he's breaking down, and he's not, his body's not holding up at the moment. He's having some bad luck. But if he can figure it out, like an Ezukama can figure it out, what they bring to the table, you're like, okay. And that's why the Storm Duck thing is so huge, because if Cam's going to be slowed down by a little injury or so, at least now you've got Storm to help you out with depth purposes.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I mean, all those young corners have been standing out. Like Maytree will make some plays, the undrafted guy out of Wisconsin. Isaiah Johnson, different body type, a little bit of a bigger cornerback. So you have some different guys, and you hope to have as many of those. Like maybe Storm makes the roster, but the other guys, if they can make it out, if you can keep them onto the practice squad, sneak them onto there, that would be exceptional to be able to keep those guys around. And McMorris, we mentioned he had one of the game balls from the last game, leading the team in tackles, and it seems like he's always around the ball. So good to see that. And on the Cam Smith point, it was good to see him in the preseason game, because he's going against Terry McLaurin. So one of the better starting receivers in the league, and he kind of had his way with him. Terry did on Cam early on, missed a tackle, so gave up a couple catches, then gave up a third down play, missed a tackle, let him go for 20 instead of 5 or whatever that it would have been. But just the resiliency to put that play behind you and then make some plays later in the game. Obviously, they weren't against the caliber of a Terry McLaurin, but he bounced back.
Yeah, he made a couple of tough open field tackles after, bro.
Mm-hmm. He knew what he needed to correct, and he did it. He redeemed himself. So, and unfortunately, then you see on a special teams play, he tweaks that hamstring, or might have been a situation where, because he hadn't had that practice ramp up so much from coming off of whatever the first thing was, which Mike McDaniel said it was a different spot. So I don't think it was an aggravation necessarily of the same thing, but I guess maybe he got cold a little bit, went back into the game for a special teams play, and had to sprint again. Maybe that's what occurred. So I'm not a doctor, of course, but it's just unfortunate to see him tweak something like that, and now maybe have to miss a little bit more time at a critical juncture.
I'm with you there, man. All right, wide receiver wise, we talked a little bit about it, and for me, if everybody's healthy, I've been telling folks, if everybody's healthy, Braxton Berrios is the odd man out, because I think they'll keep Ezukama. I think they have held on to him. They've had patience, And when he came back, immediately they featured him, which tells me, here you go, kid. Let's find out what you got. And I just kind of feel like he'll be the 6th wide receiver. Now that Craycraft is injured, it's gonna earn Brett Berrios, it's gonna buy him some time. But if everybody is healthy, okay, 4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now, everybody's healthy, who are your top 6 receivers?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. If we're talking just strictly receivers, then I mean, you look at the 6. Obviously, you have your top 3. You're assuming OBJ comes off the PUP, so Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, OBJ, Malik Washington has to make this team, and River Craycraft has obviously proven clearly he's there if healthy. But now he's answered that question now, where he's hurt to start the season, and we'll be missing some time. So that puts us at 5, and now we're basically at Ezukama or Berrios at that point. And then I think strictly receivers to lack redundancy, then you would go Ezukama in that case, especially because of different things you could do with him, like getting him involved in the run game that Mike McDaniel was doing last year. He's a taller receiver, and we saw him flash more this last preseason game, especially like you said, so quickly after coming back.
I said it's in the post-game show. You fucked up. You can't put him on the practice squad anymore.
Oh yeah, no.
You fucked up. If you wanted to hide Ezukama, you don't play him and showcase him the way you did. The way you showcased him, that means you want him, is my point. If you showcase him like that, it's because you intend to keep him. If you think you're going to sneak him onto the practice squad, hell no. That's not going to happen. Because all he had to, and if he showcased again on Friday night, forget it, bro. It's over. Ezukama did what he had to do. He put on film, he's fine, and either you keep me or somebody else is going to sign me. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, and why. If you're just talking receivers, then Ezukama gets it over Berrios. But I will say, I think special teams coordinator Danny Crossman really likes Braxton Berrios back there in the return game. So I feel like that would have given him the nudge to make the roster because of his role there. I think especially with the new kickoff rules, they want someone that's going to handle it well. They don't want someone fucking up back there, leading to different shit happening with the new rules. So I think they feel very secure with him back there, confident that he'll make the right decision, make the play, securing catching the ball, and then obviously returning it afterwards. So that's where I would have given him the notch above anyway. When you also include that factor, which is what the reality of the situation is. That's one of the factors in this decision. But now, of course, with River injured to start the year, then I would expect he's one of those guys that are on the early IR, and then that they can bring back now with the new rule without using a 53-man roster spot. As credit to Cameron Wolf, NFL Network, we were talking to him about this rule change and how you could do that with River Craycraft now. So that seems to be where it would go, and now obviously it's kind of more settled. The decision is easier once you have that available to you with Craycraft.
All right, what are you working on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I was just writing about Jordan Poyer's return yesterday, so got a feature on him coming back, and I'm writing about Calais Campbell today. He's a guy who's obviously he's done so much in his career, and now it's about getting that Super Bowl. That's why he came to Miami. So looking into his perspective heading into this season, and then it'll be joint practices in Tampa tomorrow, where probably I'll be doing some stuff on the backup quarterback battle going into that preseason finale and that joint practice course.
Mike White's got this wrapped up. You don't think so? You don't think so? Do you really think that third preseason game is really going to decide? Look, this is the way I explained it on the postgame show. Okay, Skylar has the better talent. We all know that. Okay, he's got the better arm. He's probably the better athlete, all that good stuff. But Skylar has an erratic arm where he doesn't really know exactly where he's going all the time. So you're going to be playing potluck with him on every drive pretty much. Whereas Mike White is a guy that he can get on a roll. Now, he could get on a negative roll and turn it over, but he has the ability to string together an entire drive or two where it's clean. He can't do it every quarter and every week, and he can't be a full-time starter. That's not who he is. But he has longer stretches of consistency than Skylar does. He has longer stretches of better decision-making than Skylar does. It's not so much that he's this much better of a talent or anything. It's just that just on the mind side, he will make better decisions on a consistent basis more often. So if you're a coach, you're just going to trust the guy that is going to screw up less. And I think that Mike White will screw up less than Skylar. Not so much less as in turnovers, less as in incompletes and bad plays and bad decisions. He'll make less of those than Skylar Thompson. And just because of that quality, it will not be decided in a third preseason game. Mike White's your number 2.
Yeah, I trust him more in a game setting, for sure. He's just done it with greater frequency, and is more of an NFL veteran at this point than Skylar Thompson, which is why I think that's why Skylar Thompson is that first one up, is because the coaches want to see if he can handle those situations. And Mike White has really been thrown in with a lot of the end of the roster guys, and really just keeping some undrafted rookies calm, I think, in the huddle in their first NFL games. Instead of really just getting to go out there and ball and do what he can.
Even Tua, your center, your right guard is playing center.
Yeah.
Your center is out. Your left guard is out. Your left tackle is out. 4 of your 5 positions are either out or out of place. So, that's the other thing. The success they had this past week is good, considering also that most people weren't even playing in their spots that they're supposed to. Most of the players you're expecting to start are not there anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's why they failed in the short yardage situations. You understand? That's where the chemistry and the best part of your line, that's how you're going to survive those kinds if you're going to make it. But you saw in those couple short yardage plays, they got stuffed.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple times. Got one of them in between the 4th and 1 after not getting it on the 3rd and 1, and then they throw on the next 4th and 1, which is telling also.
And habitual also. Anyway,
it worked.
It worked. It worked. The easy pass is back. Follow him on Twitter at @DavidFronis_. Make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, safe travels, my brother. What kind of steak?
The shoot. Say it again.
Think of a home, but it's called a chateau.
Chateau. I was gonna say Showtime. Yeah. All right. Chateau.
Home, a chateau. Chateaubriand.
Chateaubriand. I'm gonna Chateaubriand.
Instead of Brian, it's pronounced Briand. Okay,
Yeah.
so Chateaubriand. Okay, so there you go.
Chateaubriand.
House Brian, Chateaubriand. There you go. Okay.
Chateaubriand. Got it. I have a cousin named Brian that lives in Tampa, so that's how I'll remember.
Okay. Now, don't take him out for. Is he a really good cousin? Because that's an expensive steak.
He's got to cover his own plate.
Yeah. There you go. All right, brother. Be safe. We'll catch up later on in the week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. There you go. David Furones. Welton Rayom. You got a call, man. Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans are dealing with bankruptcy. Nothing to be ashamed about. Times are tough. Welton Rayom is helping a lot of folks, helping a couple of our listeners. Some of our listeners have called for condo damage, personal injury, car accidents, truck accidents. It's happened. Business owner claims. We've had all kinds of our listeners call Welton Rayom, and they are all happy. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Oh, baby, we're going to be in Seattle in a couple of weeks. Yeah, going to be out there for Dolphins and Seattle. And we'll be at the Cove doing our pre- and post-game show. We'll be doing an appearance on Saturday also. Solo D, 305 Sports Babe. A whole bunch of Dolphin fans are going to be out there. It's going to be a fun season. This might be our best season yet because we're going on the road so much, which is just a dream for our show to be able to do this, to be able to go on the road. It's the ultimate blessing, out there. It would be cool to go to a bunch of road games like that. So to be able to go to Seattle this year, thanks to, of course, NorCal and all the great people making it happen for us. Ray Martinez, obviously, and his corporation helping us go to Los Angeles, go to Buffalo, go to Indianapolis. So it is just absolutely freaking awesome, man. And the Rams one was tough because it was between the Rams and Houston. So, because the Houston game is a pretty sexy game, but we chose LA. LA is going to be a lot of fun. And I always love going to LA. And plus, man, I got lucky and I get to see the. So that is, for me, that is amazing. So I am absolutely jacked. Manny Navarro will join us in about 20 minutes. So we'll have some fun with him. Don't forget, folks, Sloman's Home Shield is a proud sponsor. And if you want to feel a little safer at home because you want the kind of protection where the cameras are there constantly on the outside of the home, you can put it inside too. If you have dogs like I do, we have a couple cameras inside the home too. So that way when we're away, we can keep track of our dogs with no problem and make sure they're all right because, your dogs, at least for us, I'm sure a lot of you the same way, your dogs are kind of like your kids. So Sloman's Home Shield, folks, right now, they have been taking care of Americans for 100 years now, and they understand the importance of security. They're offering free home security system with professional installation when you use our low-cost central station monitoring. The free system includes the panel and the keyboard, up to 10 door contacts, window decals, lawn sign, professional installation, lifetime service, communication device, and battery backup. Hey, we're in like 14 different states or something like that. So, call them, find out, 1-800-ALARM-ME, and tell them that Big O sent you, folks. And they've got top-of-the-line home security systems that are designed to detect intruders, alert the authorities, and give you real-time updates. And you can even use them like I do when I'm sitting in the living room relaxing and somebody rings the doorbell. I can check my phone and see who the hell is in the front. And if it's somebody I don't need to talk to, I just don't have to answer. This I don't have to walk over to see who the hell it is. No, dude, I just leave it there. And if it's somebody dropping off food, I can just say, hey, leave the food there. I'll be there in 1 second. It's just a beautiful thing. So don't wait till it's too late to protect your home and your valuables. Sloman's Home Security, 1-800-ALARM-ME. Call them today. Schedule your free installation and sleep better tonight. All right. Sloman's, baby, protecting what matters. So please call them and tell them that the Big O Show sent you. Don't forget, please smash the hell out of the like button, man. Let's go. Jay Gelfin is first, I see on the chat board. NorCal is puffin. Steve Chapman is in the house. Jamie Zoria out in San Jose. Cosa Nostra. Oscar Rojas. True Fin Fan. Coach AJ. All of that. Brian Walters. Beautiful. The amazing, amazing people that are always supporting us. Thank you, thank you, thank you all out there. As always, you people are awesome. Ho Yoon, thank you, my friend. As always, he made a donation on Venmo like he does every single week. Sometimes he does it twice in a week. He's amazing. Like so many of our listeners that help us and survive by making donations. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you immensely, as always. Thank you, Ho Yoon. And what else? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, you can always make my favorite kind of donation, which is a Bitcoin donation. Right now, speaking of Bitcoin, it's been screwing around with 60, 61. Now went down to 59, 59.2. So here we go. It went down to 58.7 actually, but it's back up to 59.2, and now it's starting to go and tick up again. So it's screwing around in the 60 area. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. What else? Polygon's up 5% for those of you. Avalanche is up 7.5%. What else? I see here. That might be of interest for some of you. That might be somewhat pumping. Injective 373. There you go. And the markets, well, the markets are red. Down, the Dow is down 28 points. The S&P is down 5.5. And the NASDAQ is just barely in the green. It's not even worth mentioning how much it's barely in the green. Okay. You said 230, damn it. Yeah, that's it. But we're done. We're done. We're going to go back to our schedule, back to 10 a.m. every day, except Thursday, and then the second Wednesday of every month when we're at Acura. But every time, and I apologize, Furonis needed to go early because he had to drive. So I said, well, let me see if I can be ready by then, because obviously I had to stop over at 3A Graphics, which, by the way, I picked up the last part of the order. So all of you out there, Ocala Joe, if you're watching, I got your dry fits. They're going out tomorrow. I'm sure my wife will mail them out tomorrow, plus extras, because all of you that waited so long, you're going to all get extras. So you're going to get some bonus. And thank you all out there for visiting our merchandise shop. I appreciate that. That's another way to help us, survive and support us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Giovanni's out there. Rich Flair, Cosa Nostra, Oscar Rojas. Thank you, sir. One-Eyed Jack, Gus 1388. Mike No-Go Zones. Good to see you, my brother. Stephen Harris, DJ Ozones. Remember, Mike, we're 6 games over at Walk-Ons, so come on out. We're there for the first 2 weeks. By the way, we're at Walk-Ons for the first 2 weeks of the season, the Jags and then the Bills game, and then we're there for the 2 New England games, the Browns game, and the Raiders game. Okay? Those are the 6 games we're over at Walk-Ons in Kendall. Okay, we still have a couple of other games that we can go to another bar for. Only have, because we're traveling to 4, 6, so we have 7 other games left. So we still have some stuff. And then obviously, Sean and I will be doing the playoffs in the Super Bowl, because the Dolphins are obviously this year going to the Super Bowl and going to win it, Let's see, what else do we have? DJ Ozone. Good morning, you all. This guy, Sean King, who was terrible QB for the Bucs, once in his career said Tua was seeking comfort, and he's no alpha male for exposing flow. What an idiot. Yeah. It's what you don't do is protect people like Flo. You know, these kind of assholes need to be exposed. And it doesn't matter if you're in the entertainment business, you're in politics, you're in sports, you're in whatever, dude. Law, whatever. You know, that's just kind of the way it is. So, listen, man, again, Sean King may be a shock guy, and he's just looking for the shock. What do I tell you guys about this business? Okay. And, you know, half the idiots on Fox and ESPN and all that have got to play that tool. And so that's just kind of the way it is. People just don't do what I do. And not for nothing, not to toot my own horn, because I don't need to and I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need a corporation. Obviously, for 4 years plus now, we're fine on our own. So I don't need a corporation. I don't need to kiss anybody's ass. But it's just people do shit for shock purposes, man. That's all it is. A lot of times. So radio host is in Aquavision, Brian Walter. Big O, they redid Kitchen at Burns a year ago, and it was nice. Okay. You know what? I haven't been to Burns in a couple of years, actually. So I need to go. I will go. Chronic Smoke is in the house. He says Columbia and Ybor is a must. Never been there, but there's a lot of places at Ybor that is always cool to go to. Burns has been voted the best steakhouse in the country. I don't know if it's the best or 5th or 10th or 40th. I don't know. All I can tell you is I freaking love that place. Okay? Love that place. And I would eat there any day of the week and twice on Sundays. And I would definitely have a Chateaubriand. Oh, so good. DJ Ozone, Think Blue Dodgers, Dude 67, Polly King. Thank you all out there. Let's see. Storm has raw talent. He's going to be amazing. I like Storm a lot. Lenny says all the haters will be proven wrong. I see 2 on our fins lifting up the Lombardi in February. Let's go. Love it. Love it. Jules is in the house. Big O, I'm a Fins fan who doesn't understand why would you not keep Barrios, who's always available and willing to do anything. Well, because that would be your 7th receiver. If everybody's healthy and they bring different things to the table, I think you end up keeping Azukama over Barrios, because Malik Washington has been brought in to also be a returner also. He can help you. And a couple of other people can help you in that area. So it's a redundancy type of thing at his position. So that's why he would be the 7th receiver. If everybody's healthy, remember, I'm talking about, okay, here we go. Tyreek, Waddle, OBJ, Malik Washington, and then you add Craycraft, who's the best football player on the team, because he does everything, runs routes, runs all the routes on all the different positions. He helps you out on special teams. He's a terrific blocker. And then you decide between Azukama or Barrios. But if you have Malik and Craycraft, and you might use Tyreek or Waddle sometimes in certain situations and returns, then there's a lot of redundancy there. And so what does Barrios bring that nobody else brings? Really nothing. He can do what some of the other guys do. And you're right, he is available and all that stuff. But I just don't think that you're going to keep 7 receivers. And they have done everything to keep Azukama. Everything. And the fact that the second he was healthy, they brought him back to the practice field right away. And then they showcased him last week. And they showcased him to the point that they screwed up. That's it. It's over. Like, he is going to get picked up by somebody. You will not put him on your practice squad. So if you cut him and he goes somewhere else and you spend a 4th rounder on him, And he does have a skill set that Barrios doesn't have. He can be a receiver, and he can help you in the running game. You know, who knows? They might even use him as a punt returner. You know, he won't get a lot of yards, but if he can hold on to the ball and fall forward 5-7 yards, you got yourself a punt returner. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're not. There's not a ton of guys that are break, and that's the other thing. Barrios can return for you, but is he really going to be breaking a lot of them? He doesn't have that kind of game-breaking speed either. No, that's why I'm telling you that. Listen, it's nothing personal. I am being completely objective here. I'm just saying if you're going to keep 6 and they're all healthy, Barrios is out. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now, if somebody's constantly injured, that'll keep Barrios like Craycraft now. And then when Craycraft comes back, and when Craycraft comes back, then you release him. Unfortunately, that's what's going to end up happening. So, what else do we have? My only hope is that the Finns aren't looking ahead of week 2. No, dude, they're not. They're not going to take anybody lightly, bro. They need every win possible for home field advantage, my friend. You can't do that. And who are the Dolphins to overlook anybody, my man? Then they're nowhere near that kind of level. DJ Ozone says, I know it's better to have a home field, but I believe Tua and the Finns can go on the road in the playoffs and win it all to shut the haters up about winning in the big games. They could, but you got to show me that you're willing to stay with the running game. And then that's how you can win on the road. Right now as a coach, no. Afternoon, Big O, missed the live show. I was getting a personal oil change, or as the kids are calling it, a colonoscopy. Good for you, dude. I hope everything went well. That is awesome. Everybody should have a colonoscopy. Once you get to like 45, go for it, man. And it's really nothing. DJ has Hill, Watto, OBJ, Ozukama, Craycraft, and Washington. Exactly. What else? Has Big O mentioned that Jonnu will get his chances at the goal line? Yeah. I mentioned that Jonnu is going to be featured. Tight end will be featured, and so will Julian Hill. He'll be used also. Julian Hill looks good, man. He's grown up. I was spoiled when our Marino was slinging it in the big bean around our current offense's electric. Yeah, well, Marino's a freak. You know, that was once in a lifetime. That's it. You get your Michael Jordan, you get that guy, and enjoy it, bro. Embrace it. The freaks like that come around every once in a while. They just don't make them like that, dude. They just don't. Those are few and far between, those kind of dudes. Let's see. Another thing, the Dolphin players complaining about ex-coaches just plays into the candy-ass label they have been rewarded. Nah, not really. The Rams complained about Dick Vermeil when he took over. His practices were too long. Why don't you go back and look at it? They went on to win a Super Bowl. You have your differences with coaches, and sometimes, you know. So it's all right to complain about Urban Meyer kicking the punter. It's all right to complain about Urban Meyer being an asshole, but it's not all right to complain about Flo being an asshole. Where's the reasoning for that one? If you're an asshole and you're not a good coach and you're not a good person, you should be exposed. If you're not a good teacher, then you shouldn't be a teacher. If you're not a good coach, you shouldn't be a coach. If you're not a good politician, you shouldn't be a politician. If you're not a good captain, you shouldn't be a captain. So we're not supposed to complain about Harvey Weinstein abusing women because they want parts in his movies? Is that what we're talking about now? We're not supposed to complain about people that are abusive people that are trying to sabotage people's careers? I'm trying to understand this, Jewel. So we're people are trying to sabotage someone's career, and we're supposed to stay quiet? Okay. That's kind of been the problem in our society, is that we cover up for the people that do bad. And then we make excuses for them because this is who they are. This is how they were raised. This is no, fuck you, bro. That's not how you treat people. You just can't slide when you're trying to sabotage somebody's career, man. No. So we're supposed to let it pass that these idiot, dumbass broads in the NBA, these dumbass chicks. There's no reason for me to call them, anything like what's the name of the moron from last night? I put it on my. Did you guys see it? This is on video. I'm sure we're going to get tagged because I'll show the damn highlight and all that kind of crap. So Caitlin Clark is coming off the court. Okay. And, this is I've never seen a league jealous chicks and racist, by the way. I'm usually the only one that has the balls to call all this kind of stuff out because, the women going after Caitlin Clark every single time seem to be of only one color. But anyway, so here's Caitlin Clark coming off the court after her victory, and watch, she speeds up to run into her. Yeah. I don't know if she realizes that all of this is on camera. Like, look at her. And what I love is Caitlin Clark continues to enjoy her moment because the Fever won again. And they're climbing out of the standings. And she's clearly the rookie of the year. And she's clearly the most electrifying player in the NBA. And she's only a rookie. But somehow these chicks, these broads, are Skylar Diggins Smith. She wants to be a complete dick. A complete dick. And purposely try to run into her. So are we supposed to just not rip Skylar? No. We're going to rip Skylar for being the miserable bitch that she is. For being a piece of shit, actually. And everyone else in the WNBA that's taking shots at Caitlin Clark, you're all pieces of shit. You're all dumb. You're all just ignorant. This woman is bringing attention like you never got in that league. You're getting chartered flights. You're getting all kinds of attention, and you morons are going out of your way to try to hurt the woman. So we're supposed to just let it slide? Oh, no, this is how they treat a rookie. Really? How come no other rookie's getting treated like this? I'm not seeing every other rookie that's in the league. They chose several, right? Right? They must have chose 10, 20, 30 rookies, right, that are in the league. I'm not seeing all the hazing going on for every other rookie. That's racism right there, bro. That's fucking open racism. What, we only call it one way? Is that what Jules wants? Jules only wants to call it one way? Or are we supposed to call it every way? Because I'm going to call it every way. So yeah, Jules, when you're an asshole, you need to be exposed, no matter what it is. If you're Skylar Diggins-Smith, if you're Brian Flores, if you're Harvey Weinstein, I don't give a shit. What can't be tolerated, Jules, is the way I grew up, that we all just took it. We all just let it slide. That's how it used to be. The racist coach, the bitter coach, the biased teacher, the biased boss, the racist boss, the hateful boss, the Scrooge. They could just get away with being assholes. That's just not the way it goes anymore. And now people are willing to call you out. And guess what? You should be called out. Let's go. Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Miami Hurricanes. In our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report with the one and only Manny Navarro.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Oh, wow. I just saw something exciting. $1 billion of USDT was just mined right now in the Tether Treasury. You don't know what that means, right?
Speaking Japanese to me, brother.
Yeah, that means there's stable coins is like dollars. It's like money. And so right now there's several $1 billion that are sitting there right now in stable coins, and they're waiting for the what's it called, the tax cut to come from the Fed next month. And you're going to see billions poured into crypto and you're going to see very soon now, you're about to see some parabolic run, because there's a lot of people are changing their money into altcoins, and they're ready to go buy some crypto. So that's $1 billion that they just minted.
Billion.
So
you got to say it like Dr. Evil back in the day, yeah?
$1 billion.
Billions.
$1 billion. Yes. All right, man. So talk to me. What's the latest as we get ready for this game? We're 11 days away.
Just about, yeah. We'll have football officially on Saturday with Florida State and Georgia Tech playing in Dublin, Ireland. So we'll actually have a game to watch, a real game.
Dude, I'm kind of tempted to take the 11.5 points with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you lose as much as Florida State does, having a double-digit spread in another country is kind of a tricky proposition, right? So,
and I don't trust the ukulele.
Right. Yeah, he's not always Mr. Reliable either with terms of the way he throws the ball down the field.
So there's you know what? You mentioned Germany. I thought it was at Georgia Tech, so it's at Germany. Okay, so that takes
away. No, it's in Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the Georgia Tech advantage is out, so they're not going to have. But Georgia Tech is actually better. So there's a part of me, it's like I would not be surprised. I don't expect Georgia Tech to win at all, but I just kind of wouldn't be surprised if first game out, they made it interesting and they lost by 5 or 7 points, you know?
Right. I think it'll be a close game. Georgia Tech's got a good quarterback in Haynes King. A guy who's a playmaker. They got a good running back. Ran for over 1,000 yards last year. They've got guys on offense. Their issue is just defense, and I think Florida State's strength is defense, and their question mark as offense. So it may be a low scoring game. Maybe this is the game to take the under just a little bit, because I think there may not be a ton of points in the first game.
I don't take the Georgia Tech plus 11.5. You don't like it?
No, you could take the Georgia. I'm pretty confident it's going to be a one score game. But I would say the under. I don't know what the over under is, but I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game.
The over and under is 55 points.
Yeah, I could see this being like 23-20, 23-17, something like that.
I'm taking the 11.5, bro. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Go for it. Enjoy.
So might as well, let's finish this off, by the way. Miami is favored by 2.5 against Florida. What do you think about that?
I think the Gators are not going to win. I think they're weak up front on the offensive line. I'm picking Miami to win. So I would take Miami in the points. Will it be a close game? Yeah, I think it'll be a one score game. Potentially, 10 points at the most, but it's not going to be. We'll be in the fourth quarter a little concerned, because it is still the Swamp and it is still an SEC school. So I think Miami wins the game.
Yeah, and by the way, it's one of the pressure on Mario for this first game.
Mm-hmm.
Enormous, dude, because this is like, you lose this game and right away you lost the fan base. Right away you lost the fan base. And then in order for you to win them back, you're going to have to run off like 9 in a row after, something. You're going to have to do something special. The pressure on him to win that game is enormous.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Miami traditionally, when they get off to a good start, it snowballs a little bit that way. I think when they lose a game like this, if they lose the first one, it could spiral the other way, just because you don't know how the team's going to respond in the locker room. But I got faith that they're going to win the game, and I think they're gonna get off to a good start. And the schedule is very favorable for them. After that game, you get USF in Tampa essentially 3 weeks later. USF will score points, but they don't have much in the way of defense. Virginia Tech is your ACC home opener. Then you got Cal, who's a 500 ACC team. And then you got Louisville and Florida State. And so to me, those are the two marquee games, Louisville, Florida State. And, this 9.5 wins is a very doable number for Miami this year.
Well, this is the year that you better get it done, because after, a season like this is your opportunity to say, okay, I'm 3 years in, I got my guys. You see, this is what you guys are going to see from here on out. A season where you falter a couple times, all you're going to do is maybe seal your fate with the fan base, that they're going to say, yeah, he's not the guy. And then that's what I told you, that we talked about this last year, that Mario will have to make a quick turnaround, because they're not going to fire him in a year or two. But if you're not convincing in the next year or two, by year 5 or 6, that's when they can start to say, okay, well, this guy's not the guy. Now there's a few less years left on the deal. Maybe we can try to negotiate a buyout and get out of this at this point in time. So really, these next 2 years are so crucial for Mario to kind of convince people that you're the guy, because if you don't, it's kind of like what I deal with Heat fans all the time. Well, no, this is the year that Bam's going to, really take over and become an offensive threat. No, this is the year that Tyler Hero stays healthy, that kind of shit, right?
Right.
This is the year that Mario gets it and he figures it. And that's what it's going to end up becoming if you don't get it done here in the next year or two.
Yeah, and look, it all spirals one way or the other, right? I think the moment a coach loses the confidence of the fan base, loses the confidence of recruits, there's really no recovering from that, right? You would need to basically coach your ass off and pull off a bunch of upsets to keep it going in the other way. And to this point, I think it's a fair criticism of Mario to say, well, he's never necessarily going to line up and beat you with his X's and O's. He's going to beat you with the Jerrys and Joes that he recruits. And so he needs to keep stacking talent upon talent, and the way that he has in these first 2 years, where he's gotten really good recruiting classes. He's gotten really good transfers to come in. But if that momentum stops and you lose to Florida and it spirals into another couple more losses and you go 8-4 or 7-5, you never really recover from that. The momentum never really recovers from that. And so I think you're right for all those reasons.
All right, so let me ask you, Canes wise, who are the guys up for those big awards? Because you need to win, but if your guy is part of the Heisman race or the Thorpe race or this or that or whatever, those kind of things also sell for Mario. And then, obviously getting these guys to the league, winning, getting these guys to the league, getting exposure, being some of the top players at your position. Give us as Canes fans, any of our guys up considered for any of these kind of awards?
Well, I mean, obviously, it all starts with Cam Ward. He was the ACC preseason player of the year. So, Miami to this point has yet to have a conference player of the year since it joined the league. If he were to follow through and Miami wins the conference and you get the conference player of the year, you're probably going to be up for the Heisman, which is usually what happens. The best player in the ACC, it's a quarterback, and they're usually in the Heisman discussion. So I would think at the very least that's the main marquee guy. I think Damian Martinez, he's averaged 6.1 yards per carry his first 2 years in college football. He's got a good offensive line in front of him. He's a guy that will be up in the Doak Walker conversation because Miami's still going to run the football. Even if they throw it a ton with Cam Ward, I could see Damian Martinez having a big year in terms of touchdowns and just production and being a marquee guy on a good team for sure. I think wide receiver, you don't necessarily have a true number one guy who's, Biletnikoff worthy. I think Xavier Restrepo will be the leader in receptions. I think Jacoby George will probably lead the team in receiving yards, and you'll probably have Sam Brown or somebody else, Isaiah Horton, lead the team in touchdown catches. So I don't think anybody there at that position. I don't think Elijah Arroyo is going to win the Mackey Award. I doubt Miami will have anybody up for the Lombardi, offensive line type award or even defensive line. I think, I would say Martinez and Ward, and then probably Kiko Mauinoa, the linebacker, because he did lead the ACC in tackles for loss last year. He is preseason All ACC at linebacker. He's a guy that could be up for the Butkus Award. A guy who goes late into the year. He's gonna lead the team in tackles again. He'll be highly productive. And if Miami's good, you know how these awards work. It's all about how good your team is, right? Unless you have some ridiculous numbers like Jaden Daniels did last year. You're not gonna have award winners. So I think as long as Miami has team success, those three guys I would say are the main marquee that I would say will be up for awards.
If Miami is going to win 10 plus games, besides Cam Ward, the reason is why?
The offensive and defensive lines. I think they're so strong up front on both sides that physically I think they're going to wear a lot of teams down. I don't think anybody has recruited as well on the offensive and defensive line in the league as Miami has. I think Clemson's defensive line recruiting is very, very good. I think Florida State has done a good job developing guys on the offensive line. They got a lot of depth there. But I think collectively, you say offensive and defensive line, nobody's done it better than Mario these last couple of years. And I think ultimately that's why they're going to be a legitimate contender. Whether we want to sit here and point to quarterback and receivers and playmakers and, hey, you got to score points in college football. The bottom line is, look at Michigan. Why did they win the national title last year? Because they dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage. Go back to Georgia the 2 years prior to that. Why did they win the national title? They dominated the line of scrimmage.
Supposedly Harbaugh had a little Belichick in him too.
Well, yeah. Well, we can't forget that. But look, he still had some dudes on both sides of the line, man. Like that's the bottom line. You got to be able to push the dude out of the way in front of you. And Washington had a ridiculously prolific offense. What happened in the national championship game? They didn't score as much as they were used to, and Michigan ran the ball all over them. So I think that formula is tried and true. And I think as long as you have a good quarterback who knows how to protect the football, and they do this year with Cam Ward, then you'll be in the running. And I think if Cam Ward has a huge year, that's only going to help Miami more and more with transfer portal.
It also helps to be a fan of the Alan Parsons Project. I am the eye in the sky.
Yeah.
Look at you. I can cheat you blind. So, that helps, Jim.
It does. It does. Hey, listen, if you're not cheating, you're not really trying, are you?
Is he taking that to LA? I'm wondering.
I don't know. I mean, other guys in the NFL have gotten away with it, right? So,
yeah, I mean, he took a page out of Belichick. So, yeah, I guess so. So
it's worked for others.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. So, what do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check out, sir?
I am overwhelmed with work right now.
Sky, say for you. What's the eye in the sky?
Well, we just came out with our ACC preview today, brother. That took a while for me to do. That came out today. All the tiers, in terms of the conference, ranking teams in tiers. We did that. We have the best of the ACC, where I rank the best players. That'll be coming out later this week. I got a Florida State football preview in particular that'll be coming out tomorrow. I got a new podcast with Kevin Brockway that I just recorded. He's the reporter with the Gainesville Sun, who, of course, when we were doing our show before, he was with us. So
I'll be bothering him next week. I got to call Kevin next week to get a little Gator preview on the show. So, yeah.
So there's a ton of content coming up on the Athletic website. And I have a top 100 transfers list that I am almost done with, that Sam Kahn, Bruce Feldman, and I are almost done with. Ranking the top 100 transfers, all on fresh intel of what these guys are actually doing, not just their resumes, but what they're actually doing in these places, and who we think will be the best players in college football.
All right, good stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro, and catch his work there at The Athletic. He'll be back on Friday with his Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report, and then, of course, the Big Cheese. And
right, we got to talk about that new commitment Miami got.
All right, so we will get into all the new commitments and all the money flying around, and who are the big cheeses that the Canes are going after on Friday. So every Friday you can find out the latest on that one too. Manny, have a great week, my brother. We will catch up on Friday.
See you Friday, brother. Take care.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be back to a normal schedule too. Yeah. Yeah, I drove Manny and everybody crazy with this afternoon stuff and training. What date? What time? And it sucks, man. So, but he hung in there, and I appreciate it immensely. And Caneswear, man, Brett, Jeff, John, all the great people out there. But I love Brett, great human being. And Caneswear has just turned into an institution for all of us Miami fan wear. They've got Marlins gear there. They've got championship Florida Panthers gear. They've got all kinds of Miami Heat stuff, Miami Dolphins, shirts, hats, you name it, man. And then they got anything and everything with the Canes logo on it, man. Even neon signs for your bar and all that. And if you order over $99, you'll get free shipping. So if you don't live close enough, just go to caneswear.com. And by the way, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off at caneswear.com. Whether you go online, you can use our code, or you go in person, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off at caneswear.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right. Brian Flores was asked about Tua's comments, and he said, look, I'm human. That hit me in a way that I wouldn't say was positive. No shit. I've got to use that and say, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? Because you can't call him a liar. Maybe, just maybe, other players won't get the treatment that Tua and others got, bro. I don't know if Mike Gesicki wants to talk about it, but he can talk about it. I know that Austin Jackson addressed it a little bit. It's just Tua wasn't the only guy. Just so you know. There are other guys. They just gotta they need to come forward and talk if they want to. They don't have to, but yeah, it's just these things have to be exposed. They have to be. You can't allow people to keep walking around and getting away with it, because okay, this is you want the best example. You guys want the best example? Here you go, Adam Gase. You saw Adam Gase here. He had no people skills. He invented social distancing even before we had a pandemic. And he acted like he was God. You know how he was rewarded? By getting hired by the Jets. And then guess what happened? Same shit. Because it didn't get exposed how bad he was behind the scenes. His people skills, which he had none. Just like Brian Flores, just like Joe Philbin. Their people skills suck. Brian Flores and Joe Philbin are the same dude. Skin color's different, but they're kind of the same dude. They had no people skills. Joe Philbin used to walk in every week practically to the personnel department, okay, and complain about players. They appeased them a couple times, and then it got to a point where they said, Joe, we can't do this. We bring the players in. Not everybody's going to be a saint. I'm paraphrasing. You're going to have to learn how to get along with different personalities. And he couldn't do that. You're going to get a kid that's country. You're going to get a kid that's street. You're going to get a kid that's mixed, country and street. What's it called? Hispanic and street. You're going to get all kinds of mixes. Rich, poor, middle class, you name it. And they grow up differently. They act differently. And it's your job as a teacher, as a police officer, as a head coach, as whatever, to kind of decipher and figure things out and learn how to handle every situation differently. So Brian Flores struggled with dealing with people. Adam Gase struggled dealing with people. Joe Philbin struggled dealing with people. Notice, they never succeeded again. And I personally feel Brian Flores is only in this league because the NFL wanted to find a way to be the bigger person in this situation. And, you know, because the whole race stuff, and people will take it because of the race. It had nothing to do with the race, bro. He's a fucking asshole. That's it. Adam Gase, fucking asshole. Period. By the way, Jimmy Johnson, while he was here, fucking asshole for a lot of people. It is what it is. If we're going to call it like we're going to call it. So this stuff needs to be exposed. You can't keep allowing people to just be abusive. It ruins other people's lives. There are people out there that got derailed in their lives because certain people were in charge. And they sullied them and ruined their careers and drove them crazy and to question and all that kind of stuff. And, man, we're all human beings. You just can't berate someone all the time. Doesn't matter who it is, dude. Get married and berate your husband every day or berate your wife every day. See how that relationship works out. Go ahead, try it. See how long you last. See how happy you are. You know? Anyway. Flores had zero people skills, and in today's day and age, that will not fly. Tua called him out. I say good for him. It's a team sport, and that includes the coaches. Exactly. Yep. What else? Flores couldn't take it out on Greer for picking him, so Tua got the flack. Flores, well, actually, he tried because he went behind the back of the personnel people, Greer, Marvin Allen, and McKenzie, and he was telling the owner, I'd like power of personnel. The three guys that brought you in, you now want to screw them. This guy's a special kind of asshole. Like, they give you a guaranteed 5-year contract. Then they set it up that all you got to do is play Josh Rosen and lose a shitload of games. And he refused to do that. So then the personnel department wants Tua, so they take Tua, but he refuses to go along with it because he doesn't want Tua. Then when the owner wants to go after, because the other owner convinces Stephen Ross, hey, we could get Brady and Sean Payton. So now they set up the meeting, and he refuses to go along with that. Brian Flores is the same asshole that falls off of the Bill Belichick tree. Okay, the Matt Patricia asshole, the what's the other the Joe Strong or whatever, Strong asshole. It's the who's the other jerk? Josh McDaniel asshole. All these guys, none of them have any people skills. None of them. They all fail. They all think they're Belichick. They all think they can boss everybody around. And it's like, yo, bro, you were an assistant coach with Belichick. Belichick's the guy, not you. And they get everywhere they go, they think their shit doesn't stink. And that's Josh McDaniel. And he didn't even learn his lesson from the first go around in Denver, that he was an asshole again with the Raiders. And so was Matt Patricia and all of them. They're all failures. That Belichick tree is a disaster. Absolute disaster, bro. Yeah, Charlie Weiss, another one. Charlie Weiss was more of probably a college coach than he was an NFL coach, if anything. What I want to know, says True Fin Fan, after hearing the way Tua say this about Flo, even though some of us know, thanks to this show, how can there still be people who say Tua is weak for complaining about Flo? Bro, that's like the dumbest shit, isn't it? Okay, so Tua breaks his hip, comes back in 9 months. That's really soft. To then get slammed by Michael Brockers, who there's no doubt Flo played Tua purposely there against the Rams, again with that line. And he survived all of that. And so the guy that told him constantly he sucks, he still won more games than he lost. He still threw more touchdowns than interceptions. He had no offensive line, no running game, no weapons except for Waddle in the second year. Okay? This is what he had to deal with. And then, like, you think he's soft? And then he put up with Saban before that. And he put up with his dad, who apparently is also even harder than Saban and even Flores. Like, if you think Tua's soft, like, he came through all of that, and now he's been in the MVP race the last 2 years. There's not one hair that's soft on that guy. He's just a super decent human being, and you take that for granted. He's as tough as they get. Period. I don't know a lot of people that are going to suffer a career-threatening hip injury, and in 9 months they're back. I'm not sure about that, dude. I think Tua is mentally one of the toughest players I have ever seen in my entire life. Concussions, he doesn't stop. Bro, this guy injures his ankles, and he says, no, let's put some titanium wire on it so it never happens again. What the fuck, dude? You saw him in a game where he had broken ribs and a messed up finger, and he completes a 50-yard ball. Wasn't the strongest ball in the world, but he completed it to Waddle downfield. I don't know, man. It just gets ridiculous. The hate, the bias, the stupidity around Tua. It just gets ridiculous. It really does. And by the way, the Caitlin Clark stuff also just frustrates the shit out of me also, too. She's not that good. Why? Because she's white or something? She's not that important to the league. Why? Because she's white? She can't be that great. Why? Because she's white or something? Not exactly sure what's going on. But it's some racist shit. So, got to call it out, man. Call it all out. They're not going to do it on regular national stuff tied to corporations and all that because they're worried about people's feelings. I'm not worried about the feelings. I'm going to call what I see. Okay? So, anyway. Flores, typical bully coward. Yeah, Flores is a disgrace, dude. That's what Flores is. Flores is a disgrace. What else? Hate is louder than anything in the world, says Justin Lemansky. The group of people who don't like Tua will always have something to say about him. Chris Jordan, never seen a fan base, Big O, with so much hate for the kid who wins games. I don't get it. No, neither do I. Most of us don't. Great young man. Hell of a passer. God, he's a great passer. And, block for the kid and special shit is going to happen. Like most great passers. Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, same shit. Block for the kid. He's not there to run the ball for you. Just like Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. Same shit. He's going to line up back there and he'll get the open guy. One of the things that this year you're going to see Tua's best year ever. This year will be Tua's best year ever. Why? The simple pass is back. Okay? And I'm watching it in camp. I've been telling you now for several weeks. Jonnu Smith, I know it's hard to believe because for 2 years, Mike McDaniel has proven to you that he doesn't want to throw to the tight end. That's changed. I know they gave Gesicki $10 million and they didn't use him. This is different. They have him featured everywhere. Okay? He's doing everything. He will be featured. And Julian Hill has grown up from last year. He's really comfortable. He's going to help out. Those are higher percentage passes for Tua. They're going to be used for screens. They're going to be used for slants. They're going to be used for short plays. They're not going to be used all the time for downfield, which is the reason why Tua plays in the most difficult offense because it's usually a lot of downfield stuff. Now you're going to have the tight ends working the lower half of the field. You're going to have the number three wide receiver, whether it's a Craycraft, whether it's Waddle or Tyreek playing inside the slot because OBJ is playing outside, whether it's Malik Washington or Craycraft, or the running backs coming out of the backfield and catching screens and catching slants and all kinds of stuff. The easy pass is finally installed in the Dolphins offense. And because of that, Tua will now have the most efficient and the greatest season he's ever had because he has been playing under the hardest offense to play because it takes more deep shots and it's constantly, trying to thread the needle to 2 or 3 defenders. Okay, that's going to change. Now you're going to have people open underneath and a lot of it. And then that will give you the balance that you need over the top and in the bottom. And that will make it harder for safeties to play the game. That'll make it harder for linebackers to play for the game. When you were preparing for the Dolphins, were you preparing for the tight end? Hells to the no. The tight end was never a factor. You won't have to worry about the tight end. Now you're going to have to. You're going to have to worry about the tight end as a running back. You're going to have to worry about the tight end as a catcher in the screen department or out in the open field. The running backs, same thing. Screens coming out of the backfield, crossers, all that kind of stuff. Third receiver, Malik Washington, will grow into this offense. And Craycraft can run every route on every position here, and he can be used all over the place. And then you can add Azukama and other things. But the easy pass is back in the offense. Well, I'm sorry, it's in the offense for the first time. And I remember Tom Brady killing you with the dink and dunks. I remember Joe Montana killing you with the dink and dunks. I see Pat Mahomes killing you with dink and dunks. So everybody uses it. Everybody has the tight end. Everybody throws to running backs. Now you're going to see more of that here with the Miami Dolphins. And that will lead to Tua having his greatest and most efficient season ever. Because Mike McDaniel has made the offense a little easier to run. That's what I can tell you, folks. That's what I can tell you. I can also tell you that we love talking about Toyota of Hollywood. They are open till midnight every single night. Love talking about Toyota of Hollywood. I should know I have a Camry. My daughter has a Corolla. I've had 2 Camrys in my life and a Corolla. My wife has had a Camry in the past. So, you know, Toyota has been an impactful car in our lives. And like I say all the time, they've got over 2,000 Toyotas in stock. So you've got a large selection, over 1,200 new ones. They've got no payments for 90 days. They've got 2.75% financing available for 4 full years. 0 down, folks. Take advantage. Right now, you can buy any new Toyota and get up to over $2,000 Kelley Blue Book value for your trade. Get on down there, 1841 North State Road 7. It's on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Tell them that Big O sent you. The service is second to none. They're going to take care of you, and you're going to love it at Toyota of Hollywood. All right. Let's see. What did you send me there, Pat? On Tua's TD pass, the tight ends were back wide open too, sending you a pick. Yeah. I see what you're saying now. Okay. Tua drops back, yes. Yeah, this is all going to change because you have to worry so much about Waddle and Tyreek. You know, the Jonnu Smith, I'm telling you, for you fantasy geeks out there, Jonnu Smith will be a top 5 tight end. Top 5 tight end. It'll be used a lot in the offense. Trust me on this. Trust me, man. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. All right, what else do we have that I wanted to talk about also? Oh, yes. You know, it's not a funny story, but something that people were wondering about and talking about it, and I want to kind of enlighten people. This is not really like a super important Dolphin story, but I want to warn you ahead of time about stuff like this. You saw that there was a young man, I forgot his name now, that was outside every day up until last week outside of training camp and wanting to get a tryout. Remember that, right? So never got the tryout, never got the opportunity. And let me explain why that doesn't work. And I know, because I got fans, he's, well, why don't you just give the kid a chance and this thing, because you're not necessarily happy with your guy or whatever. But here's my problem with all of this that people have to understand. Okay, there's a way of going about all of this. And there are agents, and you hire agents, and you have workouts, you have tryouts. The agents get you workouts, tryouts. They get you workouts and tryouts with different leagues. Okay, because sometimes you're not good enough for the NFL, but you could be good enough for the CFL or the XFL or the UFL or whatever freaking pro leagues that they have out there. So they get you tryouts the legal way. Okay, they put together your stats, tape, this, that. The agent reaches out, talks to the general manager and the position coach and all that, and they try to get you a workout. Okay, or you get drafted, or you go through the draft process, or all of those things. But sitting outside a facility, see, here's the problem with that. That opens up a can of worms. If you do that with one guy, then the next guy comes, the next guy comes. And before you know it, you've got 15 people hanging out because, hey, the Dolphins are known for going out on the street. And that's why the Ravens or the Dolphins or the Steelers or the Rams or the whoever is not going to go out to the street. And just because some guy's picketing out there, hey, pick me, give me a shot. It's not going to happen because they're not going to open up that can of worms. So for those of you out there that kept thinking about it or why don't they at least give them a chance? There's a reason why. You just can't allow that because it will become a cancer. It will become a running joke. And then what are you supposed to do? Every time somebody sits out there, you're going to get, no, dude, you go through the proper channels. If you have the stats, if you're good enough, you'll get representation because agents will see your talent and they'll say, I can make money off that guy. So you don't have an agent? Why? No agent feels you're good enough? Well, then go try out in the, it's like watching this loser Colin Kaepernick, and there's no bigger freaking loser in the world than Colin Kaepernick. And he was talking to the BBC or something. And it was like, well, no, all I need is a chance. And he's still talking about that. And, dude, you're a loser. You never really wanted to sacrifice because if you did, you would have gone to the CFL. And you would have embarrassed everybody in the CFL and kicked ass. And then you would have embarrassed the NFL because somebody would then have to bring you back. But because you thought you were above all of that, which you're not, because if Warren Moon's way better than you, and he went to the CFL, and then he made his way to the NFL to go to the Hall of Fame, you're no better than Warren Moon. You're no better than Joe Theismann. You're no better than Jeff Garcia. So you didn't want to reprove yourself. You just can't be given shit. And that's why the kid outside didn't even get a sniff. Because they're not going to do this and then all of a sudden make it a habit. And so now you got people parking themselves outside because, the Dolphins will give us a chance. No. That guy gets shot down and nobody else will do it because now there's a track record. Yeah, somebody else tried that and the Dolphins didn't even give a shit that the guy was out there. Because that's how it's going to be. The Falcons and the Bucks and the Seahawks and everyone else is not going to give a shit that you're out there. There's a way of going about it. And that kid failed to go about it, and that's why he is not in the league, unfortunately. And maybe he has the talent. Who knows? But you got to go about it the right way. Tua's licking his chops. That's why he's so relaxed and confident because he knows the weapons he has. Imagine if you gave Brady this offense, it would be unstoppable. Justin says, you've probably already been asked, but what do you think about going to get Hunter Renfrow for Rivers' replacement? I like Hunter Renfrow, but I know I don't think he's much of a returner. So The thing is, the River's going to come back in a couple of weeks, and you've got 3 weeks till you start the season. I don't think he's going to be out that long, maybe 4 to 6. So, I don't think it's going to be. You could get by with Berrios being the 6th guy until Craycraft can come back. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. He is an excellent play designer, but in-game coaching needs plenty of work. You're talking about McDaniel. Yes, I would agree with that. We need a preseason MVP award for Skyler. Belichick crashed and burned after Brady left. His methods didn't work for him, and he's not worked out for any of his disciples applied for other teams. Yeah, you're right. That's right. John, when you're right, my man, you're right. And I don't think anybody can argue with that one. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, if you want to make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And you can always make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we love that. By the way, not practicing today, Emmanuel Ogbah, Cam Smith, Javon Holland, Hayden Rucci, the tight end. Let's see who else. Anthony Walker, Benito Jones, Aaron Brewer, Tanner Connor, Braylon Sanders, River Craycraft, Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks wasn't practicing, but he was out there. So that's pretty cool with the concussion. So maybe it's not too bad. Okay. And Kendall Lamb also didn't practice. Now, Ethan Bonner, Jalen Wright, and Jody Fortson all practiced, but with red jerseys, no contact. Waddle and Tyreek worked on the side. And Reek, by the way, had a wrap on his right hand. I don't think it's anything super serious, but figured I would mention it. Let's get to a little musica. Why don't we? Let's do that. Let's start off with musicians born on this date, August 20th. Demi Lovato. She was born on this date in 1992. Michael Schumann, bass player for Queens of the Stone Age. He joined them in 2007. He was born on this date in 1985. Fred Durst, vocalist for Limp Bizkit, born on this date in 1971. Dimebag Darrell, rest in peace, guitarist for Pantera. And unfortunately, we lost him in 2004 after a man stormed the stage during a Damage Plan show at the All Rose Villa Club in Columbus, Ohio, and began firing shots at the band and the crowd. Crazy shit, dude. Crazy shit. Let's see. Doug Feiger. I think he passed away. Singer-songwriter for The Knack. And yes, he did. He passed away in 2010 at the age of 57. Phil Lynott, the great Irishman. Singer-songwriter, bass player for Thin Lizzy. Born on this date in 1949. We lost him in 2005. Roberto Planta, the Plant Man, the singer for Led Zeppelin and solo stuff, born in 1948. And what a sourpuss he is. The great Isaac Hayes, who, by the way, gave Trump the shaft because they were using his music, and the Isaac Hayes Foundation said, no. We don't let you use our music. Isaac Hayes did not let him use his music. They said, nah, you can kiss my salty bowls. Isaac Hayes, born on this date in 1942. We lost him in 2008. Who else? That's about it. Worth mentioning. Let's go with other famous people born on August 20th. Andrew Garfield, movie actor, is 41. Ben Barnes, movie actor, 43. Misha Collins, TV actor, 50. Amy Adams, actress, 50. Who else celebrating birthdays today? Al Roker, 70 years old. And that's the rest of the famous folk celebrating birthdays today. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
I believe I do. It is Lucky Cannon is 37 today. Byron Saxton turns 43. Tori is 60. The daughter of Rey Mysterio, Aaliyah Mysterio, is 23. And Gunther Ring General is 37.
And those are your birthdays today. All right. Let's go music history today. 1973, the Rolling Stones released Angie. The ballad went on to become one of their biggest hits. In 92 on this date, Sting married Trudy Styler. In 88, England's Monsters of Rock Festival, 2 fans were trampled to death during a set by Guns N' Roses. As the band performed, singer Axl Rose urged the crowd, "Don't effing kill each other," because the ground was wet and the crowd of 107,000 strong was surging forward. In 88, Steve Winwood had the #1 album in the country with Roll With It, Baby. Meanwhile, the set's track, the title track, topped the singles charts. In 91, Nirvana and Sonic Youths kicked off a joint European tour in Cork, Ireland. In 2012, Green Day released a special 10-level edition of the game Angry Birds, featuring the band's members as the Green Pigs. Players who got to the 10th level were treated with a new song from the band. And that's what happened today in Musica History. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Matt G says, "Hey, lifelong NorCal Fins fan. Me and the wife are headed to Miami next week. First time in Miami. Any advice on must-visit restaurants as we snag the Titans Monday Night Football tickets? Will be the first time at Hard Rock." Yeah. I would tell you, you definitely should go to the Hard Rock Hotel, just because that's a nice experience. The sushi place there, Kuro or whatever, is actually really good. The steak place there is also good too. I'm trying to think of like must places. Let me see. Help me out, guys out there. Make suggestions. Oh, by the way, I did see a super chat. My bad. Albuquerque Alex. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Big O, looking forward to meeting you and the great Sean Stanley. You got that right, that Sean Stanley is the great one. At LA and Seattle, both a short trip from Albuquerque. Great show. Thank you, Albuquerque Alex. Thank you, my brother. I look forward to meeting you, my friend. Look forward to meeting all of you in Indianapolis, in Buffalo, well, in Niagara, which is close. And then in Seattle and in Los Angeles. Cannot wait to meet so many of the people that help make this show go round and survive. And you guys are part of something special, man, because we're one of the few media members, okay, that can actually go and do this thing on their own. And which is great because it gives me the freedom of controlling the content and being able to talk about whatever I want and cover all the local sports and the stuff that matters to us as South Florida sports fans. Sure, we talk about the national stories when they happen, but, obviously we're going to be focused on the Dolphins and the Heat and the Canes and the Marlins and the Panthers and Inter Miami and all that good stuff. So, but it's a lot of fun. And I know that there's fans for all those teams all over, and especially the Dolphins. We've got fans everywhere, like Albuquerque Alex. So looking forward to it. Albuquerque Alex, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Very kind of you. Thank you for making a donation and helping us survive, which is a beautiful thing. Why do we forget about how vile Bob Knight, the Indiana Pacers coach, was with his players, verbally and physically abusive? Exactly. You know? That's it, man. Dimebag Darryl, great nickname. I agree. Greetings, Big O and Sean, Annie, Tommy Rockers. No, so far, unfortunately, there are no Vegas trips, planned. You know what I'm saying? But if we can get a sponsor that wants to fly us out there, my initial idea, I was trying to cut a deal, and I was close to one with a hotel out in Vegas. That's what I want to do, where we can, team up and go cover events and promote the hotel, and then fans can, for events like the draft or NCAA or NBA Summer League or the NHL draft is coming, whatever it is, like events that we can go there, and then fans can travel with us and stay in the same hotel with us, and we broadcast from there, all that kind of stuff. I was trying to build up that kind of stuff with the hotel, but that's it's not an easy thing. Yeah, it's all about connections. It's about who you know. So I got to get somebody that I know in Vegas, somebody that can help me out. And we can create a second home where we can travel to Vegas 4 or 5 times a year to cover all kinds of different things. You know what I'm saying? So that has been my big vision. But again, it takes sponsors. You gotta try to make that happen. Because Vegas has become such an important sports hub for all of us as sports fans. So it's really cool. So we'll see. One day, Miles Deep, we'll be back. We'll be back to Vegas. I always try to create any excuse to go to Vegas if I can. Let's see. Big O Oscar Rojas says, I'm a troll. I'm crushed. I may never recover. Why are you trolling him, True Fin fan? Big O, did you know Dimebag Darryl was Diamond Darryl? His first years of Pantera, he went to Dimebag when they added Phil Anselmo. I didn't realize that was the transition. Yeah. Miles Deep says, I'm a chef at Circa. It's like a sports restaurant. Man, talk to him. I'd love to, talk to him about that. That'd be great, dude. We can create a relationship with it. So, hells to the yeah. That would be a lot of fun. So, okay. What else do we have that I wanted to talk about? Oh, by the way, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Just saw Alan Blanco. Picked up a bunch of shirts and all kinds of stuff that we're going to be sending out to some of you out there. So looking forward to that. 3A Graphics, 980 West 22nd Street in Hialeah. And reach out to my guy, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Wherever you're at in the country, you can reach out to 3A Graphics. Support the great people that support us, man. If you're a corporation, maybe you need some shirts for some kind of a field trip or something. You need some uniforms, whatever it is. You need hats or whatever. 3A Graphics can do it all for you, man. Call them 786. That's his cell number, so you get to talk to the owner, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Friday night, Dolphins wrap up the preseason. It's gone by pretty quick, by the way. They take on the Buccaneers at 7:30 at home. The Bucs are favored by 2 since they're home. Over and unders 38. Dolphins plus 114 on the money line. The Bucs minus 135. Don't expect the starters to play in this game. Okay. Saturday, they've been resting so many people. It just doesn't make sense. Saturday, 7:30, Chase Stadium. Inter Miami's back in MLS play, and they take on Cincinnati, and they host them at Chase Stadium. Big game. Today at Dolphins practice, River Craycraft, Braylon Sanders, Chris Brooks, Hayden Rucci, the tight end, Tanner Connor, the tight end, Aaron Brewer, Kendall Lamb, Emmanuel Ogba, Anthony Walker, Benito Jones, Javon Holland, Cam Smith, all did not practice. Now, Ethan Bonner, Jalen Wright, and Jody Fortson all practiced, but limited with red jerseys, non-contact. Waddle and Tyreek worked on the side. Tyreek was wearing a protective brace on his right hand. Teron Armstead returned to practice, and he was practicing today, which is a very nice sign. Jalen Phillips was also practicing. So was Jalen Ramsey, and Jordan Poyer, who's been out, was also practicing, taking part in 11 on 11s. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. You guys will come up with an excuse at the end of the year. This will go on for 5 more years. What? I don't know what you guys are talking about. But anyway, what else do we have to talk about on the show? Let's see. Haven't seen any. Is there any big news that's broken at all, Sean? Because I have been rambling for a couple of hours, so I'm not exactly sure if we've got any kind of big news. Let's see. Tua Flores, Tua's words hit hard, but I have evolved. There was no denial. No denial. Yeah, no. Doesn't look like there's anything major. Obviously, the Brian Flores thing, I'm genuinely happy for the success that Tua has had, Flores says, and I really wish him nothing but the best. And then his voice shaking at times. Flores acknowledged that his coaching style might not have hit well with some players in Miami and indicated he has worked to improve over the ensuing seasons. I think part of coaching is correcting. I'm always going to correct. I'm always going to have a high standard. And I think, look, I've done a lot of reflecting on the situation and communication. I think there are things that I could do better for sure, and I've grown in that way, and I've tried to apply the things that I could do better and the things I've learned over the last 2 or 3 years. But I would say over the long haul, I've had a lot of great relationships over my 21-year career here in the league, players, coaches, personnel, equipment, people in the kitchen. Really across the board, I've had a lot of great relationships. I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm always looking to get better and evolve. Look, I'm human, so it hit me in a way that wasn't positive for me. But at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? And that's really where I'm at that standpoint. Do I feel that's me? No. But how can I grow from that situation and create a world that's not the case that anyone says that about Brian Flores? So, and then, by the way, it's unclear when Flores and Tua last spoke. Flores says he's thought about reaching out to Tua to help both them move on from the time together in Miami. The Vikings and the Dolphins don't meet in the regular season. Maybe if the time arises or is available, I'm certainly open to that, he said. But I've got a lot of other things that are going on too, and he does. And again, I'm really just focused on the guys here and the work we're putting in. But see, here's where you're just full of shit, dude. Because you know what you did, right? You know how you treated people, not just Tua. Trust me, I know this. People, okay? Go back and listen to the shows. I say he's running roughshod through the building. That's the quote. That's the word that I used. Roughshod. I used it with Cam. I used it with Allen. I used it with Omar. I used it with Joe Shad. I told them all in different interviews. Didn't you have a piece on that, don't you? On all that? You did a really good piece on that, right? On the whole Brian Flores stuff. I think you have it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's up on the channel somewhere. It was a dialogue of Brian Flores,
and it's there, and like Sean did a whole thing where like different excerpts of it, of me talking about all that stuff that was going on back in those days. So, but if you really gave a shit, you would have reached out already, dude. Whatever, man. Bunch of phony ass shit. That's all I see from that guy. So, Miles Deep says, I just spoke with the GM. I'm going to get some contact information and set them up with your business line. Thank you. Thank you. Or get the number and send it to my business line, because they probably won't want to call me. Probably want me to call them. It's probably usually what they do. But yeah, man, that would be cool. I appreciate it immensely. Let's see. Let's say Florida. See what I mean? That's why I don't mind blocking and getting rid of some of these losers. They don't contribute shit to the show. They're here to just troll. They're here to do shit and, insult and move on, or just ride one tired subject or whatever. Get the hell out of here. See, people like Miles Deep and True Fin Fan and Brett Dodger and all these kind of people, they give a shit about the show. They're here to support. They go to walk-ons. They hit our sponsors. They make donations. They send in super chats. They engage. They're not here to fight. They're here to engage. You know what I'm saying? Not here to start some shit. And it's not going to get far anyways, because eventually I'll just eliminate it, because I can do that. So, that stuff isn't going to get you very far here. But that's what I like, keeping the people around that actually give a shit about the show. But the people that just want to be trolls and get in the way, yeah, we don't need those people. We don't need those people. They're not here to really support the show. They're not here because they really care about the show. They're here to just entertain themselves. And that's kind of lame, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, so if a team makes it to the Super Bowl, what do you got? Oh, you guys are going back and forth here. I remember clearly you had it on the show first. Yes. Yep. Anyway. So it is what it is. By the way, I want to thank David Furones and Manny Navarro, as always. Got to thank the great Sean Stanley, always mastering every moment of this platform, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you to those who sent in a super chat or you made a donation, which you can make a donation anytime, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, and you can also make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Always appreciate it. Visit our merchandise shop. Plenty of shirts and hats there, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have maybe even some new merch too on top of all of that. Anyway, appreciate all of you. We're back to our morning gig tomorrow, back at 10 a.m. Thank the Lord, man. We are back to they're going to have practice in Tampa, but I'm not going up to Tampa for one practice. So, it is what it is, and we'll keep up with it. No big deal. And we'll have some fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the